Hey, what's up, and welcome to live.besttechie.net, the place where we talk tech, answer your tech questions for us, everything technology related. A question I commonly get is, how do you value a website? How do you determine how much a website is worth? And one of the most common misconceptions, mistakes that people make is that they solely base, or they try and base the valuation of their website off the sheer amount of traffic it gets. Now, while traffic is very important, is an important factor in the mix, it's not the only factor that you have to look at. And there's a number of things you have to look at. One of the major things you have to look at is the time you have to input into this website of yours, if you're looking to actually sell it. The time that you have to put into the website in order for it to be at the level that it is, in order for it to actually have the traffic that it has, to maintain that traffic flow. So that's really important. So, like, for example, I think about my website probably more than 40 hours a week. Like, just think about it. I know I'm obsessed, but that's what I do. And if I were to sell my website, besttechie.net, to somebody, that would be factored in. And what you do is you take the amount of time you have input into the website, and you subtract that from the revenue stream. So let's say if your chances are you're selling a website, you have to have some kind of business model, revenue model, or at least a lot of potential in the website to monetize it if someone's actually even interested in buying it at all. So let's say you're making some money off of it. You take that revenue stream, you subtract the amount of hours that you put into the site, and you can come up with a kind of rough estimate of how much you would pay yourself, either salary-wise or just see what the number is. So if you have, let's say you just make $1,000 a month, to make it simple, off your website. You put in, I don't know, let's say you put in 10 hours a week, right? So that's 40 hours, 1,000 minus 40, right? So that's where you get that number from. Now, so that would be like 960, whatever. I suck at math. I think it's 960, right? 960 or whatever. So let's say that's 960. Then you project how much you'd make, let's say, every 3 months, and then 6 and 12, and you also have, so that's how you do that, and that's a projection. But let's say you have expenses. You have to factor in your expenses, your hosting fees, your subscriptions for services, and other various things. Like, let's say you have a forum, you have to pay a yearly fee, or you have a web host that you have to that costs another, whatever X dollars per month. You factor that in. You have the domain, which costs a yearly fee. You have other things, subscription models, and that you pay for content. There's just so many other factors that go into it. What I'm simply saying is traffic alone is not enough. So when you're looking for that, if you have specifics and you have a specific question regarding that, email me, Jeff@besttechie.net. I can help you out with trying to figure out maybe how much you could charge or sell your website for, if you're even looking to do that. Now, the other thing that you have to concern yourself with a website is if the website is tied to a personality, a web personality of sorts. Now, I'm no major famous person on the internet, but let's use, I don't know, Sexy Phil, for example, his YouTube channel, right? He has almost 1 million subscribers. Now, if he were to sell his YouTube account, just hypothetically, you may not like him, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, he were to sell his YouTube account. Now, it's not an actual website, but it's an account with a lot of people subscribed to it. And he sold it to some boring person who just talks like, hey, what's up? This is the Sexy Phil show, Philip DeFranco show, blah, 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 blah. I really think this is important to me. You wouldn't even listen to that. You'd unsubscribe. So even if he had that potential, that whoever he sold it to, they wouldn't get anything out of it, merely because the people subscribed for him. They subscribe because he's on the show. The same thing goes with a website. If the person who's generating the content has a unique tie to their viewers, the people who visit their site most often, who are the repeats, and also just people who join because of the community that person brings, then if you sell your site and you're a vital piece of that site, it's going to have so much less value to it because you're so intertwined in the site. So without you, the site's basically worthless, right? Because everything that you do makes the site valuable. So there's just so many factors that like some things of some websites would literally be worthless without the person who's running them. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to sell. Even if you weren't thinking about it, just if someone were offering you something, like, it wouldn't make sense. That person would be stupid. Especially if that was the case, where you have a web personality so closely tied up to the site. So, like I said, there is really no one way, and this is the point I'm trying to get across with the website valuation thing. There's no one way to honestly value your website. There's a lot of factors that are involved, and you have to consider all of them. Now, that being said, there are sites out there, and this is what I know a lot of people are going to say about, say, oh, there's website outlook said my site's worth $50 million. BS. Think about, okay, so, let's just say it was. Let's say it's $50,000. Take that number, factor in all the factors I mentioned previously, and see what it comes out to. If it is still close to that range, yeah, it may be a rough equivalent. It may be legitimate, but guarantee you, probably 9 times out of 10, that valuation is going to be much lower than what that site is saying. Maybe it'll be higher, but chances are it'll probably be a little lower, if not much lower. Just due to the fact that traffic alone is not a sufficient measurement of how much a website's worth. Anyway, I just wanted to do this video and get that out there. Let me know what you think. If you have a website, feel free to plug it in the comments. I'll take a look at it. If you have a question, if you were looking to sell that website, or you're just looking for some tips on how to improve your website or whatever, it doesn't matter. Anything about that, anything about your website, let me know. Email me, message me. I don't always check YouTube messages that often, but when I do, I try and respond. Check out my forums, besttechie.net/forums. You can ask your question there under the web section. That's it. That's all I got. Anyway, thanks again for watching. This has been live.besttechie.net. Until next time, we'll see you. And remember, take care of your computers.